everyone, it's Sherry from the blog OurLifeHomeschooling.com, where I share homeschooling encouragement for everyday moms. I want to take you along with me today to show you some of the spring garden plans that we have for our garden this year. We've had a long winter. I am so excited that spring is here. I can feel it in the air. We spent a ton of time during the school year on our bookwork, and of course we're going to be continuing with our regular lessons, but we get really excited about planting our garden and getting the seeds in the ground. We get to start on planting usually a little bit earlier, so we're late this year. Usually we start planting our seeds inside in February, so we're a little bit late, but better late than never. With homeschooling, I really like to think outside of the traditional model of textbooks, of just sitting in a room getting your schoolwork done. We see all of life as part of homeschooling and part of learning. And so there's so much more than just the bookwork that happens in our home. One of the things that we really want to pass down to our kids is an understanding of where their food comes from and how to grow their own food. We do this in our home by raising our own chickens. We raise our own pork, and we have a huge garden. Now we have a little under 4 acres of land, so we have a little bit of property. We have plenty of room for a garden. Now over the years, this has changed a lot. When we lived in our old house, for about 12 years. It was on a 1/4 acre of ground, so we had, a really small space to work with. Our backyard was completely shaded, so we really did not have a whole lot of space. All we had to work with was our front yard. I really wanted to teach the kids about having a garden and growing their own food. And another thing that I just love about it is that it keeps kids busy. In the summer, they have so many things to go out and look at in the garden. And making them a part of it, they just learn so much. Since we only had our front yard, we realized this is where we're going to have to build our garden. So I was a little nervous about what the neighbors would think with us having a vegetable garden in our front yard, but we went ahead and we started it. And the thing that really surprised me was how many people stopped us and told us that they thought our garden was just so beautiful being in our front yard. We lived along a bike route and we had a lot of cyclists come through. So they would stop on their middle of their ride and just tell us that they thought it was so cool we had a garden in our front yard. All that to say, we have a bigger property now. We raise our own chickens, we raise our own pigs, and we have a huge garden. But you can grow your own food and bring your kids alongside and teach them some of these skills, even if you have a really small space. This is our garden area that we keep our chickens in for the winter. So these are 7 of our chickens. We only have 7 out here. The rest of them are in the barn. These are layers. The ones in the barn are layers as well. But we like to keep these here over the winter to fertilize the garden. And you can see our trellis has fallen over, and we really need to get in here in the next couple of weeks and just clean this out. When we are ready to plant in May, we'll take these chickens out and move them to a new spot and get our soil ready. Do you have your baby? Let me see. Show Mommy your baby. Aw, what's your baby's name? On the left side of our garden here, you can see this is a big patch where we had corn and potatoes last year. So we will definitely want to try that again, and I'm sure we're going to want to do more of both of those. When I start thinking about what I want to plant this year, I look back at what we planted last year and just jot it all down, and it really helps me get a good idea of what we planted, how much we yielded, and what I want to do for next year. So we are in our root cellar, or for us it's just a basement room that has no windows in it. And this is where we keep all of our canning from the last year. Now if you look here, it's actually really empty. This was full at the end of last year. We have pickles. We do pickles every year. I also have, you can see we haven't done a great job of keeping it organized. We have all the empty jars up front and everything that's left back behind it. So I have to kind of dig. We have a couple more beets. I have about 5 quarts of beets left. We have some peach jelly, some peaches. Back here I have about 8 quarts of diced tomatoes, and I think I have about 4 half-gallon jars of spaghetti sauce. And down at the bottom, these 2 rows are pretty much full of applesauce and pear sauce. We do a lot of apples and pears. And back here in the very back we have chicken broth, but that's those are from the broiler hens that we do. So next year I'm definitely going to want to do more pickles. Our apples we buy for the most part. We have a pear tree, so we'll probably get some pears this year. They produce every other year. And we'll definitely do beets again. We've planted a lot of tomatoes because I like having diced tomatoes and spaghetti sauce. I want to show you also some of the stuff that we have in the freezer because we do a lot of freezing as well as canning. In here we have, now some of this is just that we've bought at the grocery store, but I'll show you the things that we have from our garden. We have some of these green beans. We do a ton of green beans. We'll do a lot of those again next year. These are zucchini squash that I have cubed and frozen. I flash freeze them, then put them in Ziploc bags like this. They're perfect for soups. This is the cream corn that we do. This you cannot find in a store. It is absolutely delicious. We grew all of our corn last year in our own garden, which was a pretty big deal. We usually buy the corn that we cream, and so it was just really great to feel like we were able to grow all the corn that we'll use for freezing. So we'll definitely do more cream corn and probably just add a little bit more. So that is about what we keep in this freezer from our garden. We're going to be planting some seeds today. I have some seed starting cups. These are great. You can just put the soil and the seeds right in them, and then when you go to plant, they are biodegradable, so you can just put them right in the soil. It's just really easy, so we really like these. And I also have some seeds. We're going to be planting some cucumber. We like to pickle our cucumbers. And then we have, let's see, some peppers. These are going in our seed starting packets today as well. I have some neck pumpkins. These we will wait until the spring to just put them right in the ground. These don't need to be started ahead of time. I also have some yellow and green zucchini squash. We love this. We'll put these right in the ground after Mother's Day. I also have some zinnias. This is my favorite annual to plant outside, so we're gonna start these ahead of time. We've already planted our tomatoes. We planted these about a week ago, and we've been watering them, so they're already done. So it looks like for today we're going to be doing just cucumbers and peppers.
Marigolds over here. Okay, you start with that. Actually, no. Start. You don't start with this. Actually, I dropped it. old and it's too heavy. This grass is really long. And the bugs in the grass and stuff. Yeah.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
There's so much that kids can learn from gardening, from having animals around your property that they have to take care of. I think that growing your own food and knowing where it comes from could be a whole subject in itself. There's so much to learn. Every year we've had a garden and it seems like I learn something new every time. There's just so much involved in growing your own food. Understanding how the soil has to be just the right mixture, knowing which seeds to plant ahead of time indoors and which you can wait until after Mother's Day in May and plant directly in the soil. There's so many facets to it that we're always learning, and we bring our kids alongside to learn with us. Another thing I love about growing your own food is that it keeps kids occupied. In the summer months, when we're done with a lot of our regular book work, having a garden and having animals, it always gives them something to go outside and do or see. They help in feeding and taking care of them. And then they help with, the weeding and the planting outside. They're out there with us watering. In the summer, we love to spend our evenings in the garden, and we're all out there a lot of times. They're right there beside us, and they just see the whole process. They see the big picture. And I think it's a great opportunity for them to learn about a lot of different parts of nature. I also want to let you know that this week on the blog, I have shared a spring-themed copywork. This is about 7 weeks of copywork that you can use with your child. I've done several videos on copywork. I will link that above. This is the copywork that my kids are going to be doing for the next week. Copywork is something that is a daily habit in our home, and it's something that has taught the kids so much with just one short lesson that takes about 10 to 15 minutes. So I encourage you to head on over to the blog and check out the spring-themed copywork.
Mom, what am I planting in here?
Peppers and cucumbers.
Okay.
Yeah. Did you fill up this whole tray with that?
With what?
With these seeds?
No, we did some marigolds, some zinnias.
Oh, okay.
Oh, do you not
So
want us to use this whole tray?
No, I think that's okay. Yeah, I think that's fine because
Oh no, wait.
the cucumbers we technically could just wait and put in the ground in May. We don't have to do that early. We just have to do the peppers early. Oh, and I almost forgot about basil.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we should really do that.
Yeah, I like picking the basil.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now look at what you're picking up, so you only get one.
And watch where you're putting it because you don't want to do...
Oh, she's doing good. She's doing good. Yeah, just make sure you only get... Oh, it's going to fall through your fingers right here. Look, this little guy. Whoops. I can't get him. He's stuck in there. Here, let me hold these guys. Okay, get him. There you go.
Okay.
We can't lose one.
Wait, which one is there?
You just did that
Oh,
one.
yeah.
Do this one. Oh, okay.
Oh, I can't get it down far.
All right, so what window are you going to put them in? You need to put them in a south-facing window. And we already have one in the living room. You could put one above the sofa, and then we can put ours in the other window.
Okay. Actually, they're going to need a watering bin.
Are you going to put that?
Oh, where's William?
Put it in the windowsill right by the sofa, the one that's empty. So our seeds are all planted, and we're going to be watching them come up the next couple weeks if everybody remembers to water them. This is going to be a great process for them to just see how long it takes for them to germinate and then for them to grow and be ready to plant in May. So we'll just enjoy watching them. I hope you enjoyed seeing our garden and learning what we do around here and how we involve our kids in this learning process. And I want to give you just a quick glimpse of little Benjamin here. He's asleep. There's this cute little hand up by his face. I love when they do that. I hope you all have a great week. Thanks for listening in. See you next time.